One of the major questions that you need to ask yourself, before introducing DevOps, or as a matter of fact, any other best practice out there that you may be considering, why are you really doing this? What is the business point behind it, right? What is the cause? What is the belief? What are the reasons that you want to do this from a business point of view, right? And then, you can, expand the onion rings from that point onward. This is, as many of you may know, what we call the golden circle. So why is the golden question, and then the how and the what is what's going to get you there. So you really need to think about what is your organization's why behind all of that. The value is usually defined by the customer. The chain, right, or the value chain is also defined to a certain extent by the customer. So you need to figure out what the value is all about and map it, create the flow, involve your customer, and then execute it. And this is going to become a continual proposition on an ongoing basis to remove or eliminate waste and to minimize any deficiencies, at the same time maximize your value along the way. And of course, you need to have some sort of measurements. So this is just an example scorecard that you're going to use to be able to measure all of these different activities. Otherwise, you're going to be just working blind. So this is something very useful that you should establish and or have in place. Also, what you see on the screen is just a quick way to show you, as you are using DevOps, right, and as using Agile, as you are using Lean, if I can speak properly, twisting tongue, right? You're going to notice that there are a lot of different benefits that are being associated with the increase of maturity, right? So initially, you are, a slow type of enterprise with bad working practices and bad software. And as you're becoming more agile, more lean, more DevOps oriented, things becoming more positive. So it becomes a better practice and a better software eventually that you are following, agile and lean, and you are delivering much more frequent, successful, as we call it, great software. All of this as a result of your DevOps implementation and the associated frameworks that you're going to have in place. A big portion of the discussion is Agile and Agile Manifesto, or also, if you want to call them, Agile principles, but the industry calls them Agile Manifesto, and there is actually a website associated with that. So this is, as I mentioned earlier, when we're talking about a change in culture and a change in a mindset. Historically speaking, everybody, wanted to create a process, and it's a good thing. And the process will basically establish, a structured set of activities, and will, be supported by tools and so on. And also, that's a good thing. But more and more, we realize that in many cases, when processes are not designed properly, they become the bottleneck. And this is why, the Agile Manifesto is saying that I would rather, work and interact, right, with my customers, as an example, than just follow processes and tools. It doesn't mean that I don't value processes and tools. It means that I value working, and interacting at the individual level, more than, following processes and tools alone. The same when we're talking about documentation, comprehensive documentation. Yes, I value that I should have documentation, but I value more that my software should be a working software, as well as about collaboration, as well as about responding to change. So we're not saying that the right side is not good. We're saying it's great, However, we value certain things more, right, to make things, you know, moving faster in alignment with the business and to respond to business needs and requirements. So and at the same time, you don't run into bottlenecks. So this is something that is very important to keep in mind. This is one of those underlying concepts that support your DevOps approach. Also, Scrum. Again, this is all about team collaboration and application development approach. So how your team is going to work together, you know, what kind of rules and guidance you need to have in place. And you notice that, you know, the just enough structure here is very important. So you don't want to have a very complicated type of approach. You want to have enough controls to get the job done, right? So this is what we call most common, you know, or most commonly applied agile software development practice. There are a number of other ones, but Scrum seems to be the leading one in the industry nowadays, right? Again, it's not a process, right? It's not a technique to build any product, but it's a way as to how you are performing activities as a team, right? And we're going to see quick examples on that.